Welcome to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE and ECW wrestler, the Blue Meanie. We cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the mind of the Meanie. I'm Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what is up, man?
I am enjoying a sip of coffee in the apocalypse. This stylish Jack Skellington mug that we were talking about pre-record.
Yes. It's a good-looking mug there.
I think everybody... I'm going to listen as I enjoy my coffee. Hold on.
Oh, there it is.
I think everybody should enjoy their drink.
Yep.
You're listening along right now. Pick up a drink of whatever you got. With a big old gub and just go... Because it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. Why not? You know?
Yeah. Hey, what? It's the end of the world. Why not take a sip of your beverage?
Right? But, yeah.
And another T-shirt is made. Yeah. So what's up, man? How's your week been?
Pretty good, man. Even though I'm doing absolutely nothing. We ventured out to go food shopping on the advice of Mance Warner. Shout out to Mance Warner. We went to Aldi.
Okay.
Dude, I love Mance Warner.
Mance Warner's a great guy. I always get my my shopping advice from Mance Warner.
Dude.
Yeah.
We have an ad later on. I could probably work Mance Warner into.
He'll be back, yeah.
But no, Mance is a good dude, man. I watch his online content. I pop, and he reminds me of Steve Austin.
Yeah.
And give me a hell yeah! Mancer says, I love him, man. I love him. He's so entertaining, and I got to work with him in MLW. We did. I was his mystery wrestler.
A funny story from that night at MLW with him. So we're back in the locker room where we're filming, and this is a great plug for On the Ropes, which is airing already. By the time you're hearing this, it's on me interviewing the Blue Meanie and Royal Money as a part of that, and we'll get into that maybe.
Shout out to Royal Money.
Yeah, but on FITE TV, Royal Money, great dude, and hopefully this shines a light on him. But yeah, so we're in the back of the locker room at the ECW arena, and Calvin and myself we're recording On the Ropes. We're doing all the interviews. Mance Warner's back there. He's going, getting his bags, and it's at the end of the night. And so Jacob Fatu is there. We're all going to go out and grab a bite to eat afterwards. So Jacob Fatu, as the Samoans will refer to people as Oos, it's brother. It's,
right.
So he goes to Mance Warner. He's like, oh, you want to grab a bite to eat? I'm going with the Usos. And or the Usos or something like that. And Mance Warner's like, dude, the Usos are coming. The Usos are in town. And the whole thing. And he's like, oh, we're going with the Usos. And Fatu's just like, he's like, no, man, I'm talking about those two over there. And needless to say, Mance Warner did not come out to dinner with us that night. So I didn't take it personally, but it's a fun story. No, he's a good guy, a real good guy.
Oh, I love him, dude. That night for MLW, I was his mystery wrestler, and we're supposed to have the match. He was going to come in, and we were going to do like a Steve Austin beer bash, and he had like maybe a 12-pack of Bud Light, the blue can Bud Light, and some of the boys thought his beer was communal, so some of the wrestlers, started drinking his beer, not knowing that he needed it for the ring.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, how are we going to do a fucking beer bash with 2 beers? So I called an audible. Thank God, being from South Philly and knowing the ECW arena, there's like 2 bars within walking distance. I gave like $20, $30 to Mrs. Meanie. I was like, run to the corner bar, buy some Bud Lights. Because in South Philly, you can walk in any bar, get some takeout beer.
Yeah.
And she took the money. She ran down to the bar, and she was like, she runs into the bar. I need beer now. Wrestling show down the street, and they're like, what? And they're trying like give it like a wrestling show. Don't they sell beers there? No, it's for the ring, and I need beer. And she came back, and we replaced the beers that had been drunk by drinking or drunken by the
drank.
They got their drank on with our beer bash beers, but like we replenished those. So when Mance went out, ringside with the beers, we were fully stocked. So Mrs. Meanie to the rescue. She
Where was her credit on that?
I know, right?
She's finally getting it.
She was a producer on the match.
Yep.
I think she
prop master and
she was Richie from Magic. WWE we had Richie from Magic.
Yep.
If you needed something done, he could make it within like a wink of an eye. Whether
I always wondered because I've always heard the stories about Richie from Magic. Does the stories are always told in like hey, we're backstage, we needed this, so we got Richie from Magic and he threw it together. Does he like travel? Is there like a truck with just like endless supplies of things? Does he go like I'm thinking like a art classroom that is constantly stocked with supplies? Like where is he coming up with some of these things? Or are the stories just kind of are the stories not taking into effect that he was given like a week to come up with something?
Dude, he just could just, I mean, like he had his own area, like in the building. Like you walk into a building, there's a sign that says kayfabe, there's a sign that says Vince's office, catering, my favorite sign. And then, because I usually unbooked catering.
Yeah. But, great shirt over at ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie.
Yes, sir. And then there was Richie from Magic. And Richie from Magic was literally every character you saw from any movie, like what's the A-Team? Mad Dog or whatever. What's his name?
Which? Well, there's Face.
The crazy one. The one they took out the mentals.
I want to say Mad Dog. But like now it's because you said that. Maybe that's why I want to say it. Now I'll look it up.
Right. I'm very influential.
Half of what we do on this.
That was my Jedi mind trick. But yeah, Richie from Magic was like every character, like very eccentric. This, hey, can you do this? And he would look at you with like this evil genius look, like, of course I can, Or I'd walk into the building like, Richie, what you got for me today? Well, you're giving somebody a blue bath, and stuff like he could literally just rig anything. Like, and me and Goldust were doing the thing where I was jealous of Ryan Shamrock because Ryan Shamrock was winning Goldust affection over me. I was like, dude, I wish I had like a hanky where I put my face in it. I just go, and like maybe have tears shoot out, very cartoony. And he was like, and he goes off into his lair, Richie from Magic's lair, and he comes back. He's like, look what I made. And it's like this red, I forget what color it was like a hanky, but it had like the nozzle in it where you just fill it with water, you squeeze it. It had the two hoses that came out of the hanky.
This is what I'm talking about. Where did this stuff come from? How, like, what are the chances that in a million years that he would have been like, you know what, I should always keep on hand an extra handkerchief and some hoses and so I can squirt? Or did he find like an old Doink the Clown flower?
Yeah.
And just, I mean, that probably, I guess maybe is what he did, something like that. But it just always amazed me. You hear the stories of what he came up with, and my first thought is always, but how did he do this? Like MacGyver.
Dude,
like he just.
You just said that was the next words out of my mouth. I was going to say fucking MacGyver couldn't hold fucking Richie for a Magic's jock strap. It's just like, hey, Richie, can you do this? It's like, oh my God, it's like that movie, Real Genius, Val Kilmer movie or whatever like that. And the guy who lives in the closet, and he's just like this real recluse genius guy and stuff like that. I'm trying to think, like when we're doing the Great American Bash, it was BWO versus the Mexicools. He had to help assemble our big wheels, and we're like, man, how can we we had to, they were different colors, so he had to spray paint them, and I was like, we got to put BWO on the wheels, and he went and found, like, he made decals, like, out of nowhere.
Right, again, it's like, where Yeah, if I go, if I came to you and said, "Hey, Meanie, we need a decal for something like that," like, nowadays we could go online and probably within a couple of days, maybe even a rush delivery by tomorrow, we could get something made by somebody. But this dude's just creating these things out of practically thin air. It's always like, I would love to just, man, like, that's a guy that I don't know the capabilities of getting him for an interview.
Oh, I got his number. I don't know if it's still good, but
at some point, well, then we'll just talk to whoever answers. But we'll because they'll probably have just as much knowledge on it as we do of how he managed to pull this off.
Just knowing Richie, he already knows the call's coming. But dude, like we were making the BWO big wheels. He put the decals on the thing, and I wear electrical tape on my wrist, the blue electric.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give me a couple of those. I put a couple on my wrists. So I look like Wonder Woman. And it's just amazing what Richie from Magic could do. It just,
That's awesome. By the way, Howling Mad
Murdoch.
Yes, Howling Mad, which I got to tell you, I looked it up, I read it, and this is like one of those Mandela effect things. Yeah. This is one of those Mandela effect. Have you ever, what that is?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It's every day in my life.
I know. So I'm looking at this and I'm reading it. And then I was like, well, let me check like another thing. And so I like looked up another one and it's all Howling Mad. But I'm looking at Howling Mad and it's just still not ringing a bell for some weird reason. I want to call him
Mad Murdoch, or I just want to call him.
Well, maybe they just kept calling him like Mad Murdoch or something.
Could be.
Maybe one of them called him Mad Dog, like for fun or something at one point. I don't know. But of course, you also had Hannibal and.
Dude, that was my show.
I used to watch that. That was like anytime I was. Like homesick or something like that. Like it was one of the midday shows that was always on television.
Right.
Cause I'm looking here now, 1983 to 1987. So so this was like in syndication, figure when I was like elementary school, but so I'd always watch it.
Of course I watched them as they aired. So
yes,
suck it.
During your mid-20s.
Oh man, you're fucking killing me.
There is not that big of an age difference.
It's a good thing we're doing this show remotely.
Yeah, right.
I'd be like, you?
For anyone who's listening, there's not that big of an age difference between us. But it's funny when you talk about things like wrestling or any pop culture stuff, you put even 5 years between people and you could be decades apart.
Of course.
It's such an interesting thing, but and also it's fun because we're not in person. I don't have to fear for my safety. I can just, we are never going to be in the same place. Do you know, we have never, this was something I was thinking about when I put, we were talking about On the Ropes and you were the interview. And that was kind of the interview that sparked the idea to do the podcast together. That's the last time you and I were together in person.
Yeah.
We have not been in the same room as each other since the idea of doing the podcast started. It says something about technology, but it's just crazy. I was thinking, like, man, that's the last time I saw Meanie. And it's just so weird.
It seems like so long ago. That was just the MLW show when this whole coronavirus thing became heavy, because like they had the signs up, no handshaking, no this, no that, which in hindsight's a good idea, but you're asking, these guys are getting all in the same ring, or you're not going to disinfect this.
I know, right?
But it was a good idea,
and it was weird too. And I don't know if I've talked about this a time or two before, but it was weird that night because there were people I've met for the first time, like a Savio Vega, and then even like the younger guys, like the Von Erichs, or even Brian Pillman Jr., who's somebody that I've known for a while, but still especially a guy like Savio or like Laparco, is that like you go up and you shake their hand. That's how I came up in the business. All of us really came up in the business. You go in, you go around, you shake everybody's hand, especially when you're a guest in the locker room like I was. Right. I wasn't a member of the locker room. So it ended up actually almost being like an icebreaker, because I would go up to Savio Vega and instead of being like, hi, I'm Josh, very nice to meet you, and put out my hand, it was almost this icebreaker of just like, hi, I'd really like to shake your hand. I feel like a jerk, not, but I know we're not supposed to, and all that. And like, and then he laughed, and then we just gotta, it kind of, like I said, it broke the ice. So,
and there's like this new whole anti-handshaking thing, like before the whole virus.
Mm-hmm.
Like I see people like online complaining, Why do I have to shake your hand? It's like, dude, it's. I mean, you could do a triple Indy in the ring, but shaking hands is really the hardest thing
tough.
you're going to do throughout the day. It's just a matter of it's a matter of respect. It's
now,
just,
did you do what some people have affectionately called the limp fish handshake, or where you're watching on the video where it's just that like gentle little, or would you give, because that's something in wrestling that some people, fans at this point, everybody kind of knows, or at least thinks they know everything. But that was always, I remember when I first was training at the Wild Samoan Training Center, that was something that I was kind of smartened up to, was this kind of soft handshake. Whereas in the real world, like in business, if I go and meet somebody, I'm coming in with a firm handshake, So,
but do you know the history of the handshake?
I do, yes. But if you want to,
want
to share,
For the folks at home, it's like people make fun of this soft handshake, right? And I was always a firm handshaker. And then, like when I went to train with Al, I gave him the handshake. He's like, "Oh, by the way, when you're in this business, we shake hands like this, because if you're amongst people who aren't in the business, they could tell who's in the business, who is not, and it also lets your opponent know that, hey, I'm giving you my face. I'm not going to, or you're giving me your face to throw this working punch at. I'm not going to I'm not going to potato you." It's kind of like a code, like it's like it's a trust thing. It's like saying, hey, we're giving each other's bodies. We're going to protect each other. So the handshake was just a code for in a room of people who you knew was or you're in a room of people who could be workers and people who could not be workers, like just a fan or whatever. You did the handshake to let other people in the room know who you were. So.
Now it's funny. I don't remember exactly. It was not Afa, but I don't remember exactly who it was. But it was one of the more established wrestlers that were there helping train, who did the exact same thing. It was when I first started. It may have been like my second day or so.
Right.
And I went in and went around because I knew that much. I knew you go around and you shake hands. Even just in training, I did that to all like the because they had a lot of WXW was their promotion that was attached to it. And so they had a lot of people there and that were wrestlers. So I went around, I would do that. And one of them was the one who smartened me up to that and said, hey, when you're going to shake hands with the boys, this is how you want to do it. And told me basically almost verbatim the exact same story that you just told. And it makes sense. And but it's always, but it's such a weird thing because now that people don't do it, now some people don't do it now. Like I found myself wondering like, well, what am I going to show? Because now if I do that softer handshake to somebody who thinks that's ridiculous, do they now look at me and go, oh God, he's one of those marks coming in here trying to do,
right.
Especially since I'm not coming in as a wrestler, at this point, I'm coming into a locker room as a guy from FITE TV 9 times out of 10, hey, can I get an interview? So it's like, I never know what to do now. I feel like a guy like you, who's been in the business, and established, most of the time people are going to kind of go with whatever it is that you're doing.
And either handshake doesn't bother me at this point. And the further elaborate on the handshake thing is like I was doing the handshake, and then once I joined the ECW locker room, I was doing the handshake, and then Perry Saturn came up to me and said, "Brother, we shake hands like men here," and we did.
Well, there you go. Right.
I knew my boundaries. Like every time you go into a new locker room, it's like a job interview. It's like a new relationship. You're meeting a representative until somebody says, "Okay, this is how it is."
And it is confusing because you look at it. I mean, if you took Al Snow and Perry Saturn, and forgetting even today, but you took them in their prime of their careers, nobody would be like, oh, trust this one over the other. I mean, they were, how do you pick which one's opinion to take with you to the next place that you go, right? So,
but also look at it this way: the handshake was born, I believe, in the carnival days, and then there was the territory days where there wasn't this widespread TV, there wasn't like social media, there wasn't
right.
Like there wasn't a thing where you knew somebody's credentials before they walked in the room. Some people walked into a room cold, and they had no idea if you were a worker or if you were just a mark.
Right.
So the handshake was a way of going, hey, I'm one of the boys, because there wasn't this widespread known of insider terms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I went down to Smoky Mountain, I went down. I was training with Al. Al was with Smoky Mountain. They needed a referee for a show, so I rode with our referee Steve Smith, who we renamed Steve Schmegel. There's a story behind that.
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, right after this. And the funny thing is, we go down to the Smoky Mountain show, and the booker there, I can't think of his name, and it's going to drive me nuts. I was like, yeah, I rode down with the referee. I do the speech. Like, hey, hi, I'm Brian. I trained by Al. I know you got a full show, but if you need, I rode down with the referee Steve. He goes, oh yeah, Steve Smith. I went, nah, Steve Schmegel. He was like, me. I was a total asshole for doing that, right? I was like, no, Steve Schmegel. And he looked at me like I had 3 fucking eyes. He goes, Schmegel. I was like, yeah, Schmegel. And then watching him try to spell it out, and then the announcer was like, "Your referee, Steve Schmegel." So, we're going down to Smoky. I rode with Steve Smith, down to Smoky Mountain, and I went into they had separate locker rooms. I went into each locker room, introduced myself with the worker handshake like I had been taught, and those guys who had never seen me a day in their life knew that I was a wrestler, I was a worker. So, and this whole anti-handshaking thing that I see on social media, like, just annoys the fuck out of me, because it's not like, we're with each other, what, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, depending on the booker. Every fucking booker's got to have their WrestleMania show. If you're going to book a show, have 7 fucking matches, be over in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and call it a night, so people go out and have a fucking life afterwards. All right, people. All right, Mr. Promoter guy who wants to have 15 fucking matches on a show, and you want to put me on, dude, put me on. If you put me on before intermission, I will fucking send you a Christmas card every year. Put me on there I will bump out of the ring over the top rope and right to my fucking merch table if you put me on before intermission. But no, you got to be. You run a show once a fucking month. You have 15 fucking matches, and before the referee's hand comes down for the fucking final 3 count of your precious main event, people are putting on their fucking jackets and going towards the fucking door. 7 matches. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need to put everybody on your fucking show. If you don't fit somebody on the show, they could be on next month's show. That way you keep your roster fresh. But
he doesn't really care. I mean, this isn't something that Meanie's thought about in the past or anything.
And I'm not aiming this at one person. This is just like 25 years of experience of being on.
He's naming it at all of you. If you have ever booked the Blue Meanie, this is aimed directly at you.
Dude, a wrestling show should be a part of an evening, not the whole fucking evening. You hear me?
Well, you know what? From a promoter standpoint, though, this show has been a part of their last, probably, like you said, it's like a once a month. It's been a part of their last 30 days. So to them, they don't see it. To them, this is their WrestleMania. This is their blow off. This is their big, we have to
every month,
put all the time into it. We've got
every fucking month, 15 fucking matches. Look. The part of running a show is trying to make money. Less people on the show, less people you got to fucking pay. Less matches, less money spent. You're still going to get the same amount of fucking tickets sold each and every fucking month. Fucking run 7. Look, if you do promoter, I know I'm getting off on a rant, but if you're a fucking promoter, think of it this way. You have a show, a guy brings a girlfriend out, they could go, hey, we're going to go check out this great wrestling show. Then afterwards, we could go out for food and go for drinks or do whatever. But if, you're dragging your girlfriend to a show and she's like, when's this fucking thing going to end? You're not going to have a good night. So the whole thing is to make the evening enjoyable for the people who are willing to leave their house to come to your show and spend money and watch your wrestling event. And if you're smart, you're smart, you get a local restaurant and say, hey, sponsor a couple matches after the show. We'll have all our fans come over for a meet and greet at your eatery, and you can have dinner with the wrestlers, and the wrestlers get to eat for free, and wrestlers love free stuff. So, it's a win-win-win-win thing. So
You gotta really, the lesson here is you have to think about, that girlfriend or your wife or somebody that you're bringing. And if it's a shorter show, they're going to have a good time. You're going to go home, but you don't want the good time to stop then. And the worst thing that could possibly happen is if everything's going on and then she's just like, what am I looking at? So Meanie, one of the things I wanted to ask you most of all on the show is, how are your balls?
Rotund.
Great.
My nickname in high school was All Balls Meanie, dude, I am all balls. It's just like an infant laying in a beanbag chair. It's just fucking. You've never lived until you've sat on your own balls. It's like, it's like, you ever see that monument to the World's Fair in New York, the giant globe? Now imagine two of those. Like somebody went to Photoshop and was like, let's compare. The one on the right is very vascular, and the one on the left.
An infant lying.
Did you ever see the movie Johnny Dangerously when they do the hospital gimmick where your testes and you, and the guy's walking around with huge nuts, huge balls, all balls Meanie.
So
there's a reason why I tagged with Balls Mahoney.
Yeah.
Later in my career.
Nobody realized that that his theme song was talking about you and not actually even him.
Yeah, we were totally miscast.
Oh man, well, I knew this. I knew we were gonna have some fun with this, but that I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
You said a mouthful.
Oh man, and you apparently have one.
Yeah,
so, but the most important thing is about that below the belt grooming, and that's why we are so happy to have a sponsor that we believe in, that Meanie truly, not just believes in, needs. Yeah. You need this. Yeah. And our sponsor today is Manscaped. So thank you, Manscaped, for the support of the Mind of the Meanie podcast. Manscaped, for those who don't know, offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Now, this is important because for people with such, I believe rotund was the way you described them. Yes. Yeah. Rotund balls, as the Blue Meanie. It is very, very important because you can't, I guess somebody with as Jim Ross likes to say, nuts that could fit in a thimble. For those people, maybe nobody's really going to notice what's going on down there because it's just so small. But a man like the Blue Meanie,
yes,
those Daisy Dukes drop, and those massive balls are just, they're there. And
the audience on Monday Night Raw, when my balls fell out of my tight, and Goldust set me up for the Shattered Dreams kick, and I'm looking up at the Titantron, and my balls are hanging out, and I look at Goldust, and Goldust goes, as he's about to kick me in the nuts. Can I testify that I am very testicularly endowed? Wow. But the only bad thing about Manscaped is it wasn't around like 20 years ago, because plenty of times, I've had, grooming accidents, where I'm going to hedge, get the hedge the bushes, trim the hedges, and you have accidents. You get the hedge clippers. You want to make the boys all presentable on your first date, and then your nuts look like fucking Abdul the Butcher's fucking forehead from pinching. So if Manscaped had been around back in my day when I was a young meanie out in the town trying to get a date, I wouldn't have looked like I was spotting in my underwear. So thank God for Manscaped, and thank God they got to me now. Got me now. So
yeah, I mean, now they're just smooth as a baby's bottom from what I've been told.
Smooth as a baby in a beanbag chair.
So, as Meanie takes a sip, it's important. So you talked about you wish it was around 20 years ago, but here's what's great. Manscaped was around, let's say even just a year ago, but that wasn't even as good as we have it today because they're on their third generation trimmer. That's right, the Lawnmower 3.0. The Manscaped engineering team has spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, and they just released this Lawnmower 3.0. It's third generation. It features cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. The accidents, Meanie, they're finally a thing of the past.
I wish Manscaped was a human. I would take him to McCusker's for a beer once McCusker's opens up. But dude, that straight shoot, no BS, no lie. I've had so many accidents, and thank God for Manscaped because they're, you move away, where a dog used to be a man's best friend. Now we have Manscaped. So.
Yeah, and listen, it's not, we're talking about the balls, but this is, they come with multiple heads on there that you can do for different parts of the body. Look, hey, we're talking people in the wrestling business might be listening to this, and the worst thing for them is that they're going to come out of this pandemic ready to get back in the ring, and maybe they haven't shaved their chest or their armpits or their legs or their arms or their heads or their whatever. Well, Manscaped's going to take care of that for you. Some of the really cool features, their battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you can take as long as you want. And now I don't necessarily think you need to take 90 minutes.
Well, I might need two of them. Then.
You might, yes.
I might need two.
Meanie has two of these lawnmowers, just one constantly charging while the other's in use.
I keep them in a holster, and just when I'm ready, and then.
One of the other really cool features that you probably wouldn't have even thought about is they have an LED light which illuminates the grooming area for a closer, more precise trimming. And that's the thing too, is when you're trying to trim down there, you're leaning over to do that unless you're a big proponent of DDP yoga. Maybe you can be laying on your back and doing it a different way. But
or in my case, use a telescope. But yeah. No. The LED light definitely. Like I said, I wish all this stuff existed when back before in my younger years. But the LED light, man, that's just a bonus right there.
We got some more for you too. They've upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. So it's not very loud. You can go into the bathroom. Nobody needs to know that that's what it is that you're trimming. It can be a nice surprise for your significant other when you come out there. They don't know that you were in there making it just right for your nighttime activities. But let's not forget about the charging stand. Okay, show your mower off loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. That's right. You're going to be working at your computer all day. We are in a time, everybody's working from home now. What happens if you're working from home, you're on you get off your Zoom call, and please get off your Zoom call before you do this. You could have your Lawnmower 3.0 plugged directly into your computer as a power source, and just, the meeting's over, boom, trim your balls. If that's not the dream, I don't know what is.
Technology, brother, technology, and they are on the forefront of the underkeeping. So, yeah, dude. When you think about all the options they give you and the discreetness of doing it, because there's nothing worse than firing up those hedge clippers and the noisy sound of buzzers going near your most essential parts. Oh. And it can make you shrink up and cause more damage. But hey, the quiet tone of the manscaper makes you relaxed and makes them go, "Hey, how you doing?"
And Meanie hit the nail on the head right there. Essential. These are your essential parts. In a time where the only thing going on today are things that are essential, this is still essential. Maybe more than ever because you're locked in with somebody. You're locked in with yourself. God, have some self-respect. and clean it up down there. You know what I'm saying? So listen, if you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, I would like to do this. I want to clean my balls the way that the Blue Meanie does. Well, guess what? You're in luck. You can get 20% off and free shipping by using the code MEANIE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the promo code MEANIE. That's what we're giving them. We're giving them 20% off, MEANIE. By just mentioning your name, they can have smoother balls for cheaper.
Hey, and that's what we're here for. That's what the mind of the meanie here is. Not only entertain, but get your nether region out of the 70s and into the new millennium with Manscaped. So don't embarrass yourself when you go for that hot date, or show the woman in your life that you love them by having smooth, kissable, huggable balls.
All right, so where were we with some of our conversation before we were talking about that? Hey, here's something
Where were we before I whipped my balls out?
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that are significantly larger than the average person, you were featured in the Andre the Giant book that's coming out.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. The other night, I was perusing the internet and I saw an advertisement for the Andre the Giant book, which is available for pre-order on Amazon.com by the fine folks Bertrand Hebert and Pat Laprade, or Laprade, whichever you prefer to say. Two great guys I've known forever, and two great guys I see every year at the Cauliflower Alley reunion. Last year we were at the Cauliflower Alley reunion, and I was walking around, and they both had took notice to the Andre the Giant tattoo I have on my leg. And the Andre the Giant tattoo is something I've always wanted. I love Andre. I said before, I'll say it again. Growing up asthmatic, I always felt like an outcast. And then, you see Andre, and then you hear stories about how he always felt like an outcast, being that big and being, constantly stared at. When I was asthmatic, my grandfather would have to bring, a nebulizer machine to grade school, while other kids are out playing at recess. I'm in the cafeteria with this big machine breathing the medicine, and kids are coming in and they're, staring at me. Why has Brian got this big machine and all this medicine and all this stuff? So I kind of related to that, and I latched on to Andre. And when I, growing up, I started getting tattoos, and and when it comes to tattoos, I always try to do something a little bit personalized. Mm-hmm. If somebody points to that, they go, "What's that tattoo about?" I have a story behind it, and I always wanted an Andre tattoo. And I have a buddy who's an artist, Howie Noel, who has a really cool comic book called Paranormal, and a friend of wrestling, friend of everything. And he raised his hand. It's like, "Hey, I'd love to design that for you."
Nice.
So, what came to the concept of the Andre the Giant tattoo, I based it on, every time Andre would have like a handicap match where it'd be Andre against like three guys, and he would stack them up on each other, sit on them, and raise his hand for the 1, 2, 3. Well, why not do that with Andre sitting on the globe, sitting on the world, like Andre the Giant conquering the world? And,
which is also something, as we found out today, that you can relate to.
Yes.
Sitting on a globe-sized sphere.
Yeah, but he did singular. I do it dos globos.
Yeah. He was more of a John Kruk type situation, whereas
yeah.
We said we'd talk sports on this show, right?
Hey,
I'm sorry. Go back.
No. There's a side road. Reel me back into the Andre story, but
okay.
John Kruk played for the Philadelphia Phillies, mm-hmm. legendary guy in the town for what the Philadelphia Phillies did in '93. Mm-hmm. After the '93 season, he found out he had testicular cancer, right? Mm-hmm. So he goes through the procedure. They remove one of his testicles. So he goes back to play for the Phillies. I don't know if it was spring training or regular season. But Harry Callis, the legendary voice of the Phillies, and also the voice of NFL films, walks up to him. Hey, Crocker, when you go up to the plate, just swing at the first thing, even if it's a ball. Just swing at. He's like, why? He's like, I don't have to go up there and say, John Kruk, no balls, or John Kruk, no strikes, one ball. Harry Callis went up to him. He's like, I don't want to have to say no strikes, one ball. So, that's a legendary story John Kruk has told. Whatchamacallit? But where were we? Back to
Andre the Giant. Yes, yeah. We were telling a really emotional story about how much it meant to you, and I brought your balls into it.
Well, John Kruk.
Yeah,
and brought cancer into the thing, dude.
I know. You know what's interesting is you're talking about that. He's probably the reason that like my generation associates like the one ball thing with John Kruk is probably the first time anyone like my age ever heard of something like that.
Yeah.
And that's why it was, unfortunately I don't want to get into a whole PSA about, check yourself and all of that stuff, but I mean, you should.
I have no problem in that case.
You have no problem at all. People just walking down the street know whether or not you've got something going on in there. But yeah, that's, I'm thinking about it. That's probably what it is. But but hey, John Kruk, we love you.
They think it's my stomach. But
Meanie actually has a 6-pack. You have no idea what he's just hanging in front of. He is tucked up. Okay, all right. Back to Andre the Giant.
Wild card, bitches. So Howie Noel, another great artist, friend of the show, friend of wrestling. Him and Al Haney, two great guys in my life. They're incredible artists. He drew it up, and I have a friend named Fred who goes by Fredward.
I have a brother named Fred.
Yeah, Fred at Street Road Tattoo, up not near Bristol. It's on Street Road. So he does amazing work. He does amazing tattoos, and I brought two of my friends together, Howie and Fred, to come together on my Andre the Giant tattoo. And
wow. Does he really go by Fredward?
Yeah, it's like this whole thing. He's got this.
Is it a joke or is it actually his name?
Well, no, it's Fred.
Okay.
Like he went and made up these how like there was speaking of Andre. Remember the Andre the Giant has a posse.
Yeah.
Stickers. He's got these stickers that are all over like Philly area. It's like him, but as a skeleton, kind of like a Misfits thing.
Okay.
In the Misfits font, it says Fredward. So if you go
That's awesome.
If you go to the Oregon Diner, there's like a Fredward sticker in the parking lot. You see them all over town, which is great.
Well, to my brother who's listening to this, I will more than likely now be calling you Fredward. You can thank DeMeanie.
Yes, it's my fault. I'll take the blame. I'll take the heat gladly. I don't know him, so fuck him. So
now he's either laughing or he's half hot at this point.
Oh, he just punched the screen, or he threw his phone, or he kicked his poodle. And if he doesn't have one, buy him one.
Just to kick out a reaction anytime Meanie says something.
Get him a stuffed one so we don't get heat. We don't have Sarah McLachlan knocking on their fucking door.
You know what he's doing right now? He's furious because you were actually his favorite wrestler of all time. He's just ripping posters off the wall right now, Blue Meanie posters.
Yeah,
burning them.
He's drawing tiny balls on them now.
Yeah. There's going to be a rumor on the internet now. You're not going to know why it started. It's going to be in your Wikipedia.
Yeah.
He's going to go in and Fred, that's what you need to do. Go into Meanie's Wikipedia and just start this horrible rumor that he has the smallest balls. But then people are going to come with screenshots from Raw and they're just going to disprove that. But did it make it on the air or did they cut the camera?
This was the Raw where it was a Monday. They had the live on Tuesday.
Oh, this was the tape one.
But if you for the match, it's on YouTube. And for whatever reason, it has the Fox logo on it. I don't know why, if it was Monday Night Raw. But I was coming out to the ring as Raw Boy, which is going to be a parody of the Nitro Girls. And he just jumps me. I roll down the thing. He throws me in the ring, sets me up for the Shattered Dreams kick, runs, and kicks me right in the nuts. So, in ECW, my balls always made an appearance because I'm wearing the Daisy Dukes. I'm wearing tidy whities because I wasn't cool yet. I wasn't, smart enough to, get the colored underwear. It's like the fucking skid mark special. My ass was just eating my underwear, and it just looked like I had racing stripes. But yeah, my balls always came out in ECW, and then smart enough to wearing tights. So I was amazed that my nuts made an appearance, like when like Goldust threw me in, because you just feel it happening. And you can't adjust. It's like when you sit up somebody for a moonsault, you got to put them in that spot because once you go to the top rope, you can't back down and readjust.
Right.
So when he put my legs up, I know I couldn't fucking reach down and tuck. So I'm sitting there like cats in a cradle style. I look up at the Titantron, and I just hear, and oh no. And they say the camera adds 10 pounds. I was wondering how many cameras they had on my balls because they look huge on the Titantron. And so Goldust looks at me, looks at my nuts, looks back at me, and goes, like a gulp. And he runs and he fucking kicks me, right? So I take the bump, go back to the locker room. And this was somewhere, for whatever reason, the production truck was inside the building. I walked by the production truck. Somebody came out, they're like, Meanie, with the fist up, and I got like a little golf clap. And then there's people at the monitor, right outside Gorilla, and I got the little golf clap. And Luna was like, Meanie, your balls fell out. So we go to the locker room, and I'm going to take my fucking paint off, and Dustin walks in. He's standing right next to me. He goes, man, your balls fell out. I was like, yeah. He's like, look like 2 hoofs coming out of your tights. Like he said, Dustin said it looked like I was giving birth to a baby calf. Like, when the little legs come out, like, meh. So I was just like, and then flash forward years later, I do a show in Cleveland for JT Lightning, God rest his soul. And Luna was there. She's like, Meanie, remember that time your balls fell out in the Raw? So this became a point of contention anytime somebody saw me.
Man.
But back to the Andre tattoo.
So you got an Andre the Giant tattoo.
So I got an Andre the Giant tattoo. My boy Fred, a.k.a. Fred Word, at Street Road Tattoo. I want to say in Ben Salem, Pennsylvania. Right next to, there used to be a club I used to go see bands there called The Barn back in the day. So that's how I kind of remember that. It's right down the street on Street Road. He's done my Andre the Giant tattoo. He's done I got a tattoo of my mom's signature on over my heart. Okay. Did that. And he did my Toynbee tile tattoo, which I don't know if you're familiar with the Toynbee tiles in Philly.
No. Wait.
It's a Toynbee tile. The tiles that are in the streets in Philadelphia, randomly placed.
Okay.
For those who don't know, there's a great documentary. Look it up, called Resurrect Dead. It's about this whole phenomena of the Toynbee tiles tattoos that start showing up in Philly, late 80s, up until late 2000s or mid 2000s.
How did I not know about this?
Oh, dude, it's like if you walk around South,
I've seen. I know I've seen them, but I just didn't know it was. I didn't know it was like a thing.
And the documentary it does the whole origins of where where these things started popping up, and there's news clippings, and then like one showed up in Brazil and it had the address for a house in South Philly, which was bizarre.
Wow.
So it's like this whole like mystery thing. It's like a cloak and dagger of this guy trying to find out who's laying these tiles all over South Philly or all over the world, because they started showing up in New York, Chicago, Washington. They're like, how? And like if you're walking down the street, you might not notice unless you were looking down at these things. The Toynbee tiles, Toynbe tiles. So you can even do it like a YouTube search or Google search, Toynbee tiles. My boy Fredward did a tattoo of that, which he said he liked doing so much that he would never ever do one ever again. Like I would be the only Toynbee tile tattoo that he did, and I got it because it was so Philadelphia.
I know exactly what these are. I
Okay,
never knew. I just Googled it. I'm looking them up.
read it out loud for the folks at home.
Okay, the Toynbee tiles, also called Toynbee plaques, are messages of unknown origin found embedded in asphalt on streets in about 24 major cities in the United States and 4 South American cities. Since the 1980s, several hundred tiles have been discovered. They're generally about the size of an American license plate, but sometimes considerably larger. They contain some variation of the following inscription: Toynbee idea in movie 2001 Resurrect Dead on planet Jupiter.
So if you look up
So
look up the documentary Resurrect Dead, and it's
I've definitely seen these before and never just, I mean, we've got such cool stuff in Philly. I grew up outside of Philly. My dad was from South Philly, but
Right.
I grew up outside in the suburbs. But anytime I'd be in Philly, there's such cool things, whether it's like a mural that somebody did or something, so many cool things there that I kind of just accepted it as, oh, well, that's obviously some kind of cool thing going on. Never knew it was like a thing. Never really. I'm looking at these like pictures now. I never knew that it was really like. That's really cool.
Have you seen the new show Dispatches from Elsewhere on AMC?
I have not. No.
Dude, we're talking about Toynbee tiles. You brought up murals. If you watch the show Dispatches from Elsewhere, which was filmed in Philly, primarily South Philly, Center City, and Fishtown, it's like a love letter to Philly because they get all the big murals and stuff like that. Like Philly's like a really artistic town.
Yeah.
And there's like the huge mural for Fishtown. There's all these art constellations all over South Philly. A lot of people don't know about because anytime like there's a football game, they just show Pats and Geno's on let's show them making cheesesteaks.
Yeah,
dude, you can show.
See the art museum. That's it.
Yeah, the Rocky Steps, but like seriously, Philly is like a very artistic town where you can walk down the street and you can see a glass mosaic.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I never thought these were anything more than just look. For all I know, the glass mosaic has a story behind it that I just kind of always just accepted it as, hey, here's just something we have here in Philly.
The show Dispatches from Elsewhere is like a huge love letter to Philly, but it's also based off a documentary called The Institute, where this millionaire, maybe even billionaire, does this real elaborate game, like kind of like a cloak and dagger game, where they put like these fake flyers up all over the city, and they got a fake radio feed and all this stuff. And some people took it as a game, a fun game they were going along for, and then some people thought it was like a secret government thing, and some people took the game too seriously, kind of like pro wrestling. Some people are into pro wrestling for the fun. Some people take it way too fucking serious.
Dude, we have people who think that 5G internet is what caused the coronavirus. So there are people in this world, who have thoughts.
I don't want to go.
I'm just saying, people have thoughts.
People have thoughts.
Yes,
and sometimes they should keep them themselves.
Yes.
There's a whole like I said when we started this thing. I don't want to go too deep.
Yep.
I want to keep it fun.
Yep.
But back to the Institute, because like Jason Segel, who from
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yes.
And How I Met Your Mother.
Yes, he saw the documentary and
and he's in the
Jason
TV
Segel's
show now, right? Okay. I've seen commercials for it during like Walking Dead and stuff. Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Jason Segel, Andre 3000, the Flying Nun. What's her name? She was always with Burt Reynolds.
Oh God, I'll just look it up. That's what I always do. I don't use my brain anymore.
We are the least prepared show.
Yeah.
That's why I like
No, but I'm glad this is like the parts of
this. I highly recommend the show because I'm about to tonight. I'm going to watch the last 2 episodes of tonight's show because it's like a limited series, just 10 episodes.
Who else do we have here?
And a lot of it was filmed in my neighborhood, which was cool
Oh,
for me.
Sally Field.
Sally Field, Andre
Yep.
3000,
Um,
Jason Segel.
bunch of people I don't really
Some newer
recognize.
people,
Yeah.
but it's so well done. Uh, Mrs. Meanie liked the show because the one guy who plays the head of the organization was in the Spice Girls movie. That's her jam, and it's actually a good Spice Girls movie's.
Yeah.
Fucking
How's it
great.
compare to 90 Day Fiance?
Oh my god, that's a fucking shit show.
I saw a picture that you posted of your face while watching it.
Yeah.
And man, my wife has watched some things before, and she's kind enough to do it while I'm not, forced to watch it. But she watched. There was like one, I don't remember what it was called, but it was about it was like one of like reality show about like a Mormon, and he had like or Sister Wives, I think it was called.
Yeah,
And
I could never watch.
I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. But I guess that was her guilty pleasure. But no, she has not. I don't know that she knows about this, and I'd like to keep it that way. But again, thankfully, she doesn't listen to this. Unlike my brother, who is still furious right now from being
Fredward.
Yes, my brother Fredward.
Well, here's the thing. Like, and I'm gonna have this disclaimer. I know reality TV shows are a work.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. They're like shoot situations that they put them in work.
Yeah.
There's parts of me and Mrs. Meanie are watching 90 Day Fiance, and we both, when they get to that point, we both yell out, "Manufacture drama!" Manufacture drama. We throw up the sirens and stuff like that because we know when they're putting these people in a work situation. Because like if I was single. If I was on 90 Day Fiance, it would be the most boring thing because I'd be like, okay, that's great, let's do it. You want to do that? All right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Like, we were running out of shit to watch with this coronavirus thing. And some people don't know, Mrs. Meanie, my Tracy, she's friends with a guy named Larry who was on Before the 90 Days. They have a show called Before the 90 Days where the guy I think, don't fact check me. Buy the shirt.
Meanie.com.
Don't fact check me, but there's the show Before the 90 Days where I think the guy goes overseas to meet the woman to bring her over to get the visa. So Mrs. Meanie's friend Larry was on Before the 90 Days. He met a girl named, I want to say Jenny. He went to Thailand and all this stuff. So, like, her friend's social media started blowing up. She's like, oh my God, Larry's on the show? So we start watching 90 Days. And then after 90 Day Fiance, once we're all caught up, we'll probably dive into Before the 90 Days.
The prequel.
Yeah. And then, so we've been watching 90 Day Fiance. I keep wanting to say 90 Day Beyonce.
Man, a lot of people would check that out too.
Yeah, because I'm the parody guy, so I'm always thinking of like alternative ways to say things.
When this virus is over, that's 90 Day Beyonce is or 90 Day Blue Once is what I'm expecting to see.
If they haven't queued the asteroid by then and take us all out, this is rough, dude. But back to the Andre the Giant.
Your tattoo has faded in the amount of time we've been trying to just tell the story about it.
My tattoo needs a fucking touch up by Fredward. I'm gonna have to get up the Street Road tattoo and get a touch up.
Yeah, I've got my brother's gonna be waiting for you with a needle, going, "Hey, you need a touch up, Meanie?"
Yeah,
I heard what you said about me on the show.
So here, buddy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got a lot of balls. But back to the Andre the Giant book with Bertrand Abert and Pat LaPrade, however he prefers to be pronounced. We were at the Cauliflower Alley, and they took a photo of my tattoo. And I also gave them this, they interviewed me, and I basically gave you this, the same rundown. I gave them the same rundown I just did, how I related to Andre. And I just got a working copy of the book. A sneak preview as a thank you for being a part of the book.
Sure.
And it's a fantastic book. So, if you go on Amazon, uh, you can pre-order Andre the Giant, Eighth Wonder of the World book, and it's so beautifully done, so well written, and you can see the Blue Meanie tattoo.
Nice. And you can also go on your social media, and you've posted a picture there.
Yeah.
But definitely check out that. I'm excited to read that book. Any more that I can learn about Andre the Giant? It's just so, such an interesting guy. And there was that HBO documentary about him that was just fascinating. And man, Andre the Giant.
They could have done like a whole series.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I hated about the Andre the Giant documentary is it wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
And it's weird, you see people watch these docuseries like, oh, that's just too long. It's like, dude, when it comes to documentaries, nothing's long enough.
We had a fan of our show contact us on social media that he loved our show, but it was a lot for him to get through in one sitting. And our social media reminded him that now you get the Mind of the Meanie multiple days because you can stop after 30 minutes or a half hour or an hour or whenever you want to. And this can, and it can hold you over in little bits and pieces until next week's Mind of the Meanie. And his response was basically, I hadn't thought of it that way. That's great. I'm subscribed. I'm excited. And I was like, oh, good. It's like, because if you went back and be like, no, I'm telling you, it's too much. I don't want this. But
even if the show seems a little bit long, I mean, we're doing 2 hours roughly, and we don't plan it this way. We're just talking. But like, hey,
no, we just try to tell one story, and then we go off on a tangent, about your balls for a really long time.
Right, and then we talk about Andre and all this stuff, and then I start talking about dispatches from elsewhere. We're talking about Toynbee tiles.
Can I just say though, with our sponsor Manscaped, if you enjoyed that plug for Manscaped, go use promo code Meanie because we want them to keep coming back so that we can talk more about Meanie's balls. Imagine the possibilities, and this is all in your hands, the hands of the Pod Squad, for you to go and get Manscaped to come back to Mind of the Meanie as a sponsor so that we can every single week bring you more and more detailed commentary on the Blue Meanie's balls.
Mind of the Manscaped.
There we go. Where do we go from there? Hey, did you finish The Good Place? I know you said you were running out of things to watch.
Dude, no. Thank God you reminded me to watch that. We like me and Mrs. Meanie like to binge.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God The Good Place is one of those shows where you don't really have to worry about people spoiling it online.
Right. Yeah.
Where you're like avoiding social media for like at least a day and a half to where it like the fervor, faster, cools down a little bit. Where some people do play-by-play, like they're auditioning for a job at TV Guide or something.
I hate that.
And then meanwhile, though, at the end of the show, they go, "Oh, I didn't get it." I was like, "Well, maybe if you weren't live tweeting about the show, you would have seen some of the plot points."
It's very similar to an opinion that I gave on this past month. So Says Shernoff, which you were a guest on. I gave that opinion about somebody giving a star rating to a match at WrestleMania this year. That maybe while you're tweeting during the match, you're possibly just suggesting taking yourself out of the story that's being told. But that's So Says Shernoff on FITE TV.
And that was a 5-star opinion in my book.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
Oh.
Wrestling is not supposed to be Woodward and Bernstein. It's it's supposed to be fun. I got to understand people, have to make a living reporting on wrestling, but not everything has to be hard hitting.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Inside Edition. It doesn't have to be hard copy or a current affair. It could be fun, and not everything's going to hit. And if you're a fan and a certain product, certain promotion isn't hitting your sweet spot, watch something else.
So many promotions you can watch, and you know what, Meanie?
Instead of talking about, I'll let you get to that point. Instead of talking about the thing you hate, promote the thing you love. You know what I'm saying?
Very, very good point.
All the negative energy you're getting. Like, look, Vince has been the heel since the '80s. If you liked Crockett, Vince was the heel. If you liked Vern, Vince was the heel. If you like WCW, Vince was the heel. He'll never be the good guy in this situation, and that's just the way people have this predisposition. But instead of shitting on Vince every day, promote Ring of Honor, promote MLW, promote AEW, promote New Japan, promote the Monster Factory.
Do you know what I'd like to promote?
What would you love to promote, Mr. Shernoff?
SOS Custom Wrestling Network. Because
that's an alternative to WWE.
Absolutely. Because you can go to soscustomnetwork.com and you can view some of the best independent wrestling from the Carolinas and beyond. So again, as Meanie's talking about, you're not liking what's on Raw, turn it off. Go to soscustomnetwork.com. You can witness wrestlers such as CM Punk, Colt Cabana, and the SATs before they were stars, which is also an interesting thing to be able to do because it puts in perspective the journey that this talent has taken to get wherever they are. You relive the unforgettable moments made by true stars of the profession, featuring ECW icon The Sandman, WWE Hall of Famers The Rock and Roll Express, and the blue guy himself, the Blue Meanie. Come on now. That's reason enough to tune in. Original programming like interviews, commentary, professional match critiques from professionals, and deep dives into the inner workings of an independent wrestling promotion, which is very interesting. There's over 500 hours of wrestling content for only $4.99 a month. That is, if you're sitting here during this pandemic and you are going out of your mind and you're not enjoying the wrestling that's on TV, drop $4.99 and you will be set for 500 hours of wrestling content. I can't recommend that enough. And for a special for the Mind of the Meanie podcast listeners, you can go and enter the promo code Meanie at checkout for 40% off the first month subscription price. That's 40% off. And if I could do math, I would tell you what that total is going to be. 40% off of $4.99. But I'm not even going to try because I don't want to show up the Blue Meanie with my math skills. You can go. Look, this is a great opportunity to support indie wrestling and the Mind of the Meanie podcast. And you can follow them on social media. Twitter is at SOS Custom WN. And Facebook is SOS Custom Wrestling Network. And again, the website is www.soscustomnetwork.com. We really thank them for being a sponsor on the show. And again, I mean, we tell all these stories. Meanie tells all these stories. Go check out some old school Blue Meanie. It's really cool to be able to have that for only $4.99, less 40%.
And, I'm buddies with Boomer over there at SOS. And he's a hardworking dude, man. And he's got this SOS network. And what better way to pass time with this coronavirus? I mean, I can easily spend $5, when I was allowed to leave the house, and, on a burger or something like that. If you got $5 a month, getting quality wrestling entertainment and stuff like that. Boomer's a good dude, and SOS is saving our wrestling need, our wrestling hunger, our wrestling thirst, whatever the millennials are saying. I can't even get the word out of my mouth.
I don't know what millennials are ever saying.
SOS and Boomer over there are doing a fantastic job. And I greatly appreciate this sponsorship because, times are tough right now. And, invest in our show and also give fans quality wrestling, content. Is essential.
It is
in times like this because I need something to watch, and probably after this I'll be over there at the SOS Network watching some old school wrestling with myself. I love me some rock and roll. I love myself some Rock and Roll Express. So
I love myself some Blue Meanie.
Thank you. That's why I hired you. No, seriously, folks, go over there, check them out, watch some fun wrestling, and promote the things you love. So we're promoting the thing we love, which is old school, good quality wrestling with
You'd be so surprised. We mentioned CM Punk, Colt Cabana, the SATs, which of course, the Amazing Red came from the SATs. The SAT stands for Spanish Announce Team for people who might not remember them.
Yeah.
But they were great. And, that's something that I always look at stuff like this and see, and yeah, you can see stuff on YouTube, but you're searching, you don't know what you're getting. Here it is right for you. It's there. Just go and watch these things. It's so cool to see this talent when they were cutting their teeth, when they were up and coming. That to me is just, that's when you're getting, not that anybody ever gets lazy by any means. I mean, you see Colt Cabana's on AEW now, he's working his ass off. But you see at the point where before he was the Colt Cabana that everybody knows, before CM Punk was dropping pipe bombs, this is an opportunity to really get to see these people and see what independent wrestling looked like years ago when it was, and that gives you an idea of what independent wrestling looks like now when we return. And you look at that and you'll start to say, hey, the next CM Punk, the next Colt Cabana, the next Blue Meanie, these guys are there now. They're cutting their teeth now. So go back and take a look, and really it'll allow you to realize what's out there today. So again, that's SOS Custom Wrestling Network, soscustomnetwork.com. We thank them so much for supporting the mind of the Meanie. Go support them. Promo code Meanie.
And if I may, dude, I'm sure I was on some of these shows that he has on his network, and I was on shows with Colt Cabana and CM Punk. There, most notably, shows out west for my buddy Norm Connors, and I just saw right away the talent that they had. It was also CM Punk, Colt Cabana, Chris Hero, and
the hero. We need a hero in this dark time, and it looks like the hero is returning.
Absolutely, it's a shame that he lost his spot at NXT, but he's not going to be hurting for work. No. The independent world will definitely, take advantage of his skills. He's such a great kid. I met him. He was a young kid, and you could just have a conversation with him, and he was so knowledgeable.
Well, that's the thing with a guy like Chris Hero, that in my opinion, whenever he hangs up the boots, that's a guy you're going to find. I wouldn't be surprised if you found him back working behind the scenes with an NXT one day, or an AEW, or any of the other promotions that are out there. That's a guy who just gets professional wrestling. He gets it in ring. He gets, the showmanship of it. Doesn't have the traditional look, which I think has held him back in places like the WWE. But he's hell of a wrestler. Well,
I mean, it's a non-WWE traditional look, but like if you go back,
that's what I mean. Traditional WWE look. Yeah.
No, it's not a slight either. Mm-hmm. But look. We went through this last week with everybody being released, and go on YouTube, and there's a great YouTube channel, Hannibal TV, by Hannibal the wrestler, great guy. I've been on this channel plenty of times. He did an interview with Al Snow, and I keep saying, when I was training with Al Snow, and Al is my go-to guy. He's the reason why I'm here, and
we talked about being Al Snow guys. My connection with Al was when I was in OVW, and I had mentioned earlier about training at the Wild Samoan Training Center. I trained multiple places. When I got to sit next to Al Snow during these live events with OVW, that was I don't want to call it finishing school, because I could, you could fill a room with the amount that I still have to learn about this business. But Al Snow was like anything I'd ever learned about wrestling. He just tied it in a bow for me. Like he just, would just explain, this is why. So I'm completely on track with you. Al Snow is, that's a guy who I proudly say any little bit of training that I was able to get from Al, I call myself an Al Snow guy, proudly. So yeah, so keep saying it, Meanie.
Go on YouTube, go to the Hannibal channel, and he does full long form shoot interviews, but then he breaks down to clips. And look up the video Al Snow shoots on Cody Rhodes leaving WWE. And this can apply to everybody, especially Chris Hero, who was just recently released from WWE. And the main point is you can always go back. Whether you left on your own accord or you were released, depending, given the circumstances, just because you left doesn't mean you can't go back. And Chris Hero is so knowledgeable and so talented that he will definitely be back in WWE if he chooses to.
I mean, he already had left and came back.
Right,
This is the
but
second.
he could be a coach.
Yep.
His knowledge of the wrestling business is so rich that like they need him at the PC because you can have these kids come in and learn. You could teach anybody to do moves, but we need to teach people the history of the business too, because if certain traditions are not taught and passed on, they will cease to be.
Yep.
And that's why I get so hot. I get so fucking angry at these people who shit on shaking people's hands. I'm to the point where if somebody doesn't shake my hand, if I don't get the chance to shake their hand first, if they don't go out of the way to shake my hand first, I'll hold like a mini grudge until they shake my fucking hand. And I know I'm not the only guy,
What if I hug you instead? Is that okay? Does that just
count? Dude, that's bonus points. That's like finding an onion ring in your fries. That's fucking great. Dude, I'm a hugger. I respect Bailey. She's a good men's talent, but I was the original hugger.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you a big old hug and lift you off your feet and maybe contemplate suplexing you maybe, but I get so mad when people shit on. I get so mad when people shit on the fucking handshake. Just the handshake. Say hello to me. It's a matter of respect. If you're kind enough to book me on your show or share a locker room with me or wrestle with me, shake my fucking hand.
Yeah.
It's 2 seconds. 2 fucking seconds to say hello. But and that's a tradition. And then and Chris Hero knows. Like I see him on social media talking about the history and the names of moves and the origins of the moves. If I was running a wrestling school, I would hire Chris Hero immediately just to come in and not even get in the ring. Do it like a 2-day seminar. Mm-hmm. One day, just sit there and talk. I mean, I've learned more about this business on car rides than anything anybody could have shown me in the ring. And, I've been offered a chance to do seminars before the apocalypse. I said, hey, man, I could come in there and make you do a million drills, make you do spots, but I could teach you more just sitting down and talking and having a Q&A and, just talk. People, that's the thing that, the youngsters in this business need is that older guy just to sit there and talk to them.
Yeah. And not talk down to them, but talk to them as somebody who's been where they are. And it's like, this is the age old thing with anybody of any, at a certain age, why wouldn't you want to try and learn from not even someone else's mistakes, but someone else's experience? If it could help you in the littlest way, why not? So yeah, hopefully we can get some post-apocalyptic Blue Meanie appearances going on.
If I could toot my own horn here for a second,
toot away.
Like I said, I still consider myself a coach at the Monster Factory, and my real life schedule got so crazy that I couldn't get over there. But I plan to get back there. But my time there when I first started training, and I would talk to these kids and be like, not only talk about the things I did right, but talk about the things I did wrong. And we have a kid down there. We have a kid who went to WWE named Steve Cutler. And then there was Luis Martinez and Matt Riddle and Nick Camarado. I hope I'm not forgetting somebody. Everybody who went down there for a tryout WWE came back and said everything I had told them to expect happened. Yep. And they were prepared. They're like, oh my God, thank God you told me about this. Because WWE is not just a job, it's a mentality.
Yeah.
And there's certain things to expect, certain things they expect, and some things that just happen on the fly. There's an unwritten rule book. And I'm sure it's like any other business. I hear You see the shows like Mad Men and stuff like that, or other shows where it's business. There's certain it's a world of its own. Everything you think would happen in the real world could be way different over in WWE land. It's not a bad thing. It's just you gotta be on your toes.
Yeah, and
so
take the advantage if you get an opportunity, whether it's Meanie or anybody else. Like take the advantage. I know there have been times that I've just kind of reached out to you since we started doing this. If I had a question about interacting with somebody in the business or something, because I value your opinion, because I know you're not going to bullshit me. And I value your opinion because of your experience, because of, who am I to sit there and go, if I had an opportunity, I'm an indie wrestler coming in to go work a tryout or a dark match or something at WWE. Why would I not want to have the opportunity to talk to someone who's been there and say, I mean, man, I'd be asking everything from what should I wear? What, where should I stand in the locker room? Like everything, because the more you know about something, and you are right with that, with any business, there's etiquette in business. And when you're interacting with people who are established, and so, and the etiquette changes from place to place. So
yeah, I was speaking of reality. There was like some show where I don't know if it was Making the Band or something. There's something with Puff Daddy. He was doing a reality show early 2000s or whatever, and he's got this band that he's trying to put together in the studio. He goes, you know what? I'm in the mood for fucking cheesecake. Go get me a fucking cheesecake right now. And these people had to go find a fucking cheesecake for him. And they were scaring New York to bring him back cheesecake in the studio for the challenge or whatever. But wrestling will throw you. And it's not an ego thing. It's not like, let me fuck with this guy. It's not let me fuck with this dude kind of thing. It's how bad do you want to be in the business, and what are you willing to do to be in the business and stuff like that. So, at the Monster Factory, they'll have the students do certain things, not to fuck with you, but to see. Well,
and that's where I think things
are you coachable?
Right.
That's the biggest thing in the right? WWE wants somebody who's coachable, not a robot, not somebody who's just going to follow orders, but somebody who's coachable and who can also, think for themselves in some ways too. They could give you an idea, but if you can expand on an idea and make it better, you're golden.
Yeah, no, it's really it's good insight, and I've always looked at it with any form of business that I've been a part of, and it's that same mindset of you sometimes like for instance, what can get you, or who can get you somewhere, but what keeps you there. So it's the thing. It's the same way as, even if it's not a who but maybe your look, right? If it's a person who's hiring for body or for size or just for sometimes nationality, they want to build a certain market, so they're bringing somebody in. But it's that being open to learn that's going to help you succeed.
You hit the nail on the head with that. Even nationality and stuff like. I'm not even going to get too deep on that, but. I've seen it. People get hired because they were. It's like the Brady Bunch. Do you ever see when Greg Brady wanted to become Johnny Bravo or whatever that?
It wasn't Johnny Bravo. What was it? It
was Johnny something, and they hired him because the suit fit.
Right.
They fired the guy because they wanted somebody who could fit in this suit.
Yeah.
Or it's like the commercial for Brita or the faucets or something. Where they go this couple goes in the house to have a house built, and they just put a faucet on there, like build a house around this, something like that, something crazy like that, And wrestling's the exact same way. The story of Paul Bearer, where he walks in and they put him with the Undertaker, and they were looking for somebody to play a Paul Bearer, and then they looked at his resume and. Yep. He was a real life mortician. They're like,
perfect fit. It's a perfect fit.
And that's how the wrestling business is. And I don't know how we got to this point,
I have no idea.
Oh, Chris Hero.
Yes. I think we were talking about Andre the Giant and that.
Yeah, and then like how all these guys are getting released. You can always go back and stuff like that. But that's the wrestling business is a fascinating place.
Yeah. Hey. You know what else is fascinating? How many new shirts we have available over at mindofthemeanie.com, pro wrestling tees /mind of the meanie. We have another new shirt out that I am super excited about, and something that you have mentioned you've wanted to be the face of a franchise before.
I've always wanted to be the face of the franchise, where somebody hires me. They do all the work, but I come in and I'm like the mayor. I wave, hey, how you doing? Meanie burgers, or something like that.
So now is your time to apologize to my poor brother, who is still in the corner crying right now. He was the one who said to me, hey, you guys doing a meanie burger shirt? And I said, I hadn't really thought about that. And because when we're doing the show, we're not trying to come up with stuff. We're just, you don't know what's going to resonate with somebody. And he just thought it was hilarious, the stuff you were talking about. And that's kind of what got the ball rolling for you and I to put our heads together on this.
I'm sorry, Fred. Sorry.
I think he forgives you.
Yeah.
He forgives you.
Take your poodle.
We're bringing. Now he has to return his poodle.
Yeah.
Because now this poodle's here for no reason whatsoever.
Right. That's my fault.
But yeah. So anyway, we have this awesome meanie burger shirt, which is kind of in the style of Krusty Burger from The Simpsons. That was kind of the idea behind it. But it's meanie burger, and it's you love your burger with extra blue cheese mo.
And the cool thing about our shirts is, we collaborate on them, and we designed this one. You came up with the design. I put my meanie touches on it, because
we used artwork from TTD from a previous drawing where he's like, just use it on whatever you want. Thank you, TTD. He's awesome.
Another great artist. And we came up with something that's really fun, really special. Yeah. And it's not a real franchise, but it could be.
It could be.
Wink, wink. And
go buy enough shirts, and next thing you know, you're gonna have a meanie burger in your mouth.
So go to prowrestlingtees.com /MineOfTheMeanie. Get yourself a meanie burger shirt. Get my other favorite is the Pod Squad shirt. Yes. We like to call our fans the Pod Squad. Meanie's Pod Squad, Mine and the Meanie Pod Squad, whatever.
Yep.
There's the Don't Fact Check Me shirt was born out of me just simply
said it again today.
Because people like to fact check you. Even there's nothing worse than talking to somebody and you say something and you see they pick up their phone and they go to Google the thing you're talking about.
Are you talking about me?
Shame we're on video. Yeah. We'll have to take away this video option. It's hurting me. But no, seriously, so many good shirts over there at Mine and DeMeanie on Pro Wrestling Tees. And Pro Wrestling Tees is a great company. They have quality products and all that good stuff.
We've said this before. Get yourself do yourself this kindness and get yourself the soft T-shirt. Just do it. It's an extra like $2 something. Just do it. It is absolutely worth it.
It's such a great quality shirt, great feeling shirt, and stylish.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Pro Wrestling Tees shirts as they are great. But if you can spend that extra couple bucks and get the soft touch shirt, you'll just be treating yourself to a great quality, great feeling, great looking shirt. And that's no BS.
And you're supporting Pro Wrestling Tees, which has allowed, in this kind of dark time, has allowed independent wrestlers to continue to make a living. It's really a great place owned by great people, and guess what? They don't just have ProWrestlingTees.com /MineOfTheMeanie. They also have ProWrestlingTees.com /Blue Meanie, where you can go and you can get Blue Meanie merchandise, BWO merchandise. We've talked about the Hello Meanie t-shirt that I might end up, if they have a small enough one, I might get for my daughter. Just such cool stuff over there. Meanie, tell us some of your favorite shirts over at ProWrestlingTees.com /Blue Meanie.
Over at ProWrestlingTees.com /Blue Meanie, some of my favorites, of course, BWO shirt, which is one of the top selling shirts in ECW history. I'm just not making that up. That is a fact. I love the
that one they can fact check you on.
Yeah, they can fact check me. It's a good thing, I was friendly with the merch girl who's like, yeah, we sold out like 200 things. These shirts are these, and stuff like that. And watching TV. To this day, the BWO shirt still shows up on Raw. So if you want me to find you in the crowd and tweet at you and post a still by yourself when we go back to wrestling.
I was going to say, I can't wait until we have the opportunity to like offer fun things to people who hold up a sign for our podcast or wear the shirt at one of the, at this point in time, we apologize, but you're not allowed in any of the arenas. So no fun things happening there that we had planned.
In the meantime, you can go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie and stock up on your shirts to wear when you
ready to go.
You're ready. Yeah, when they cut the ribbon back on the rest of the real world, like it's the grand reopening of America and the world. You can go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie and get yourself a Hello Meanie shirt, which is designed by Mrs. Meanie as a tribute to Mama Meanie. Mama Meanie loved Hello Kitty. There's the Meanie Two-Face shirt, which was designed by Hal Haney, which depicts me as a member of the BWO and a member of the Job Squad. And I had a fun collaboration on that shirt as well. So many to choose from. If you're a Philly sports fan, there's the Philadelphia T-shirt that's in the design of ECFNW. But each shirt comes in each Philly sports.
All the colors. So if you're a baseball guy, not a football guy, great, we got you covered. Hockey, great, we got you covered.
Yep. As an Eagles fan, I do the Kelly Green shirt. As a Phillies fan, I do the old school maroon colors.
You have to.
Come on. Yeah. And I usually don't wear reds or oranges, but the Flyers Philadelphia shirt is pretty cool, man. And it stands out and it looks great. So if you go over there, all those shirts, like my tattoos, a lot of those shirts have a lot of personal meaning behind them, and the fact that people are buying them now. Hey, talk about my love of music. We have BWO guitar picks. We have baby onesies. We have you have baby onesies? A BWO baby onesie? BWO baby onesies for breaking that child in the right way. I have got a baby boy coming this June, and I think I'm gonna have to put him in a BWO onesie. I think I know a guy. Yeah. So first, I'm gonna check with my wife, and well, it's not like I'm putting him in the ECF&W, and I'm sure she's gonna be okay with this. But that's cool. Yeah, well, I'm doing that. So hey. I feel like we're all locked down, so if you and your significant other 9 months after the apocalypse find yourself in need of a onesie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie and pick that up. There's gonna be a lot of pandemic days. They're really in about 9 months. They're really are. Get yourself a BWO baby onesie, and you're not only supporting the show, you're not only supporting me. If you go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Says Shernoff, you're not only supporting Josh, but you're supporting Pro Wrestling Tees, because Pro Wrestling Tees has also been hit pretty hard in these times where they've had to downstaff a little bit. They had to get rid of some of their sites, like they just shut down the Barbershop Window, moved it over to one of their other sites and stuff like that. So Pro Wrestling Tees needs our help, needs our support, and they're great people. It's a great American company. When we all get back on our feet here, we want the opportunity for them to not be in the hole, so that they can instantly bring back whatever staff they had to let go. Nobody wants. We talked about that last week with releases and stuff. Nobody wants to do that. No one ever wants to let somebody go. And the best thing that we can do is try and help those people to, once everything opens back up, be able to bring their staff back on and not have to suffer longer than that. One other that we have to throw in there, we're talking about wrestling shirts. We've got to talk about the wrestling brand. That's Collar and Elbow. The BWO has taken over Collar and Elbow, so you can go to collarandelbowbrand.com, use the coupon code MEANIE, and save 10%. I would recommend people just start using the coupon code MEANIE everywhere and just see what it does for you. See what sticks. Yeah, just see, hey, can I get something off? So definitely go there. And again, we thank you for supporting our show, supporting me, supporting Meanie. SayShernoff.com is for my stuff. And Collar and Elbow is Al Snow's company. We talked about our mentor, my best friend, my big brother in this business, Al Snow, and Rod Hicks over at Collar and Elbow do fantastic work. They allowed me to do a spin-off of their Collar and Elbow mirror shirt, and and instead of elbow, instead of the B, the bow, they put the BWO logo on the mirror side of it. So, and I always wanted to work with Collar and Elbow, other than just being one of their sponsored performers, stuff like that. I also wanted to contribute, with a great product.
Collar and Elbow. Oh, I'm sorry.
A lot of their shirts are so much fun because they're I'm the parody guy. A lot of their shirts are parodies. So yeah,
Mrs. Meanie running.
Yeah, Mrs. Meanie running.
Running in with the knowledge. Oh, we love you, Mrs. Meanie.
He loves you too, and I love you. And we talked about 90 Day Fiance, by the way. Back to Collar and Elbow. Like Mrs. Meanie said, all their shirts are just a big wink.
Yeah.
Winking and nod, like, eh.
Very true. And you know what? We talked about soft shirts before. Man, Collar and Elbow, those are some of my go-to. I get out of the shower and I want to just throw on, a t-shirt. And
absolutely.
That's it, man. They are soft. They are comfortable. So yeah, check it out. Promo code Meanie, save 10%. And thank you everybody for supporting us. We've been blown away with the support, especially such a difficult time for everybody financially, but the people, I think maybe what's our number one? Is it Pod Squad? I think it's actually
Pod Squad, and if I do say so myself, I think Meanie Burger will have a strong.
He hasn't had the opportunity yet to surpass Pod Squad, but we really do appreciate it. So go and it means the world to us, and send us some pictures of you enjoying your merchandise.
Absolutely. There's nothing more I love than watching somebody wear a shirt that supports us, or a shirt we designed, and just like I said, with whether it's Vince McMahon or the guys at Pro Wrestling Tees or Collar and Elbow, they're not in the business to. They're in the business to hire people. They're in the business to sell merchandise, because just like how we love to watch people wear our products, they love people to support their products. Yeah. Same with a promotion like AEW and stuff like that. We're in the business to make people happy, and if you support us, not only will you make us happy, but you'll look great, and when you look great, you'll be happy. Let's all be happy in these crazy times.
That's some good advice. Hey, we're talking about the Pod Squad. Last week we had so much going on, tributes we wanted to pay, things, stuff we were talking about, that we didn't end up having enough time. Totally forgot, and that's on me. To do an AMA, a little Ask Meanie Anything, and we had some good questions. So I was thinking, if you have the time, maybe we.
AMA is always a good go-home spot.
Yeah.
So, towards the end of the show, let's see what the folks are thinking.
All right. So this one comes from, I think they both come from Facebook here.
Nice.
This one comes from a friend of the show and longtime friend of mine, Mr. Matt Mangle, asked the question, actually has two questions here, kind of a follow-up. If you could do anything over again in the business, what would it be and why? We'll start with that. We'll start with that part of the question, because I think he managed to shoehorn 3 questions into here. But hey, we didn't do it last week. He's been waiting this extra time, so we're gonna make sure it's gonna be an extra AMA.
He's a little backed up, so he's got to get it out of his system.
So if you could do anything over again in the business, what would it be and why?
I would tell, if I could do anything else and why, I would tell myself. Younger Blue Meanie, when I was in Memphis, to reach out to Jim Ross and talk about possibly getting into doing color commentary and maybe play-by-play. Because when I was in Memphis, I was like, man, I was just thinking of ideas. I'm always thinking. Like I say, I could be walking from my house to my car. I'm thinking of ideas. I'm thinking of promos, thinking of stuff like that. I was like, man, well, I lost all this weight. I really don't look like the Blue Meanie. Trying to make this new character. What if I was an on-air personality? Maybe I could be like a Doc Hendricks or, somebody to, stand there and do interviews or throw to segments, pitch merchandise. I could do that. I'm confident that I could do anything, really. And when I was in Memphis, I was definitely thinking, man, I should reach out to Jim Ross, or Bruce Pritchard and be like, hey, man, what if I did interviews? What if I did play-by-play? What if I, planned for myself post ring?
Mhm.
Anything you could, anything to plan for my career outside of the ring. So if I could go back in time, I would definitely tell myself, hey, man, stop thinking about it and start acting on it. And, reach out to Jim Ross, reach out to Bruce Pritchard and say, hey, how about this? You know,
That's interesting.
because I had
Yeah.
lost, I'd lost all the weight and stuff like that. And, I was in the midst of losing the weight, but putting on the muscle.
Well, a
And,
great example of something. And I don't believe he reached out. I believe they reached out to him. But Taz, you look at Taz today with AEW, and the height of his game and everything that he's done in radio and with podcasting. And prior to sitting down at that announce table, who would have thought? Who would have said 20 years from now, Taz is still going to be you would have thought, hey, maybe he's working as a coach behind the scenes, maybe he's doing, which is not to belittle that at all. But
right.
it never, even though he was always such a good promo, never for me, who grew up an enormous Taz fan, I never would have just been like, oh yeah, the easy transition for Taz, but it happened. And I think that that's something, I think, Meanie, that's something now that people are getting used to the sweet sound of the Blue Meanie. I don't think that's behind you. I think that might be something we're looking at in the future. People are starting to,
I'm
we're
available.
starting to become, we're all available right now. Nobody,
Yeah.
but no, I think
Yeah.
that's really interesting. And I would like that. That would be something really fun to hear the Blue Meanie on commentary. But
Commentary,
mhm,
play-by-play analysis. I definitely think I would be a fun color
mhm.
guy
what
or a
what
producer
color would it
backstage.
be?
Well,
Yeah, you see what I did. Hey, but that goes,
many shit.
right into one of the other of Matt Mangle's questions. If Meanie went full heel, and we're not talking, I think we're not talking about, oh, he's one of the bad guys. He's we're talking Meanie has one of those death stare heel turns. What color would he be?
Probably dark blue. I don't
Ooh.
know. There was a period of time where I, I call them the dark years, kind of, just because I went to WWE developmental in Memphis, and I was trying different looks, and then I started coming. I moved back to Philly after I was released, and started running shows for a company called 3PW, which I was involved with Todd
Mhm.
Gordon, and I was just trying to find my way, and I started dyeing my hair black for some reason. Which, if you ask me why, I couldn't tell you. Maybe I was doing the movie at the time, and I liked the way it looked.
Mhm.
And last week where I was talking about how I did my paint differently, I was doing my paint differently. I started wearing different gear. I got out of the Daisy Dukes and the half shirts,
Mhm.
and I don't know what the hell I was doing. I was just trying to find my way, try to do things, see what stuck. And it wasn't until like one night stand where I went back to the half shirt and Daisy Dukes, and
Really?
which I still do. Now, yeah, one night. Well, yeah, one night stand was the first night I went back to the half shirt Daisy Dukes
Did you do
because
it
we were doing the
Did you
BW.
do it the night before or whenever it was at the hardcore
That
homecoming?
was that's Friday. I was still like kind of like half new meanie.
Oh wow.
I was wearing my I went back to wearing the airbrush shirt. I
Huh.
was still wearing there was like these long blue tights I was wearing and or pants I was wearing at the time with my meanie boots, my airbrush
Mhm.
boots. But like I knew in 2 days I was going to be a member of the BWO, so I had to wear the Daisy Dukes and a half shirt just because if you're going to go be part of a retro
Oh
ECW
yeah.
show, you gotta go back to it. And from that point on, that's when I went back to the half shirt and Daisy Dukes full time,
Mm.
and back to my original paint with the bandit mask with
Yeah.
the raccoon eyes. So yeah, that everything people are like, oh, everything that happened at one night stand that kind of brought me out of my funk. That kind of brought me back to where I needed to be.
Mhm.
That's where I was putting my feet back on the back in the soil of who I was and where I should be, the Blue Meanie character. Because it's one thing to find your way in the business, and then like I was given the character the Blue Meanie. I was given the look the Blue Meanie. I was on TV for so many years as the Blue Meanie. Uh, it's one thing to, and then you try to do something, but it's hard to do something without the advent of without having television to introduce a new character. It's you could try to do things down in Memphis and make mistakes and nobody sees it. But I start doing this new character and people are like, "How come he's not the Blue
But they came
Meanie?"
to see the Blue Meanie, yeah.
Right. So as bad as crazy as and bad as the one night stand was like an amazing show, with one blemish on it. But that blemish kind of brought me out of this cloud of what I call the dark years, where I was fighting depression and all this stuff, and the incident was depressing enough. But once I came out of it, I kind of hit the ground running, where I started getting bookings again. I started working outside this bubble, which was 3PW, and I sacrificed my career for 3PW, because I wanted to put all my focus on that. I started just, fuck it. I'm not going to worry about running a show. I'm just going to be the talent. I got to have fun and be the talent again. I got to be the Blue Meanie again, the OG Blue Meanie.
Nice.
So to speak.
Yeah. It's interesting. The other question that he had was, this is the final part of his hat trick. What other character would you have been if the Meanie didn't take? Because you just mentioned the Meanie was handed to you, and that was, and you're talking about a time when you were trying to recreate yourself. Now imagine the Meanie never became that thing that people wanted to come see the Meanie or whatever. Do you have anything else over the years, maybe someone else in the locker room that you looked at and said, dude, I would have liked to take that character. I would have, everyone always talks about Mick Foley. The whole Dude Love character came from that conversation when he said to Shawn Michaels, I always wanted to be like you. He looked at that Shawn Michaels character and, did you ever have in your mind of another character, if you're just like, God, if I was never the Meanie, I could just start fresh with this?
I'd always think about characters and stuff like dude, I was thinking about that in high school. Mrs. Meanie found one of my notebooks from high school where I was practicing my autograph. I was going to be Mr. Scary Brian Kruger, which
that's awesome.
Mr. Scary was a guitar solo George Lynch did with the band Doc, and I was like, oh man, this is great ring music. Like that's how I judge music. Can I come to the ring to this? Or I'll hear a song on the radio nowadays, and I'll go, man, ECW would have been all over that song.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, like, yeah. Mrs. Me brought up a great point. Like, there's a point in the BWO song where there's a gong. And I know when that part of the song hits, I go through the curtain.
Huh.
So that spawned a game between Mrs. Meanie and I, like on road trips, we'd be listening to a song. We're like, all right, where's the gong in this song? Not a literal gong, but what part of the song would I come out through the curtain to? It could be any song. We could be listening to something.
I think I know exactly. It's when there's the build up in the BWO song, right? The build up with the drums and then.
Yeah, and then you hear a gong.
Yeah.
And then that's always where I hit.
That's always where I want to start with the intro on the show, but then I look at it and I go, that's a lot of time of people just listening to the BWO theme. That they might just be like, did they forget to start going? And so, yeah, maybe what? In post, I'm coming in on the gong today.
Yeah, and that's the part of in the beginning, the and then the drums, boom, ba, 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 and then there's a.
Yep.
And then it goes into the mellow. There's that gong in there, which originally wasn't in there before. I used to come out to the bootleg version by the Swamp Candles, which we should probably play on here at some point. But that became a game between me and Mrs. Meanie where, okay, where's the gong on this song? It could be a rap song. What part of the song do you hit the curtain? Come through the curtain.
I was at an indie show, like early 2000s, maybe it was like 2002 or something like that. And a guy came out to the Eminem song. I always sing it, Mom Spaghetti. Lose Yourself.
Yes.
And that man had a gong in his mind of when it was time. And it was like
Really?
a minute and a half into that song. Like it just, you saw him just like jogging in place behind the curtain. And this is a guy, like no name guy or whatever, but he just jogging. And me and my buddies are watching. We're just like, okay, come on. And then it would like kick in. We're like, all right, here he comes. Nope. He's still just jogging. He's still waiting.
Still jogging at place.
And went early in my career. I forget the name of the song I came out to, but I was a big Rob Van Dam fan. And I remember how Van Dam and ECW used to just wait for that kick in his song to come out.
Yeah.
And you'd sometimes just be sitting there waiting. And then Van Dam would come out. So I'm like, well, I'm going to do that. Well, guess what? This might shock some people, but I'm not Rob Van Dam. And people were not as interested in waiting for me as they were for Rob Van Dam, because as the suspense was building for Van Dam, for me, the anger was building in the audience of wanting me to just come out. So that was a one-time thing. And then I just came through. But yeah, but I think everyone can relate to what that gong is.
Yes.
We also have another question that came from Michael Johnson on Facebook. And he writes, what kicked ass more, your first match or meeting Van Halen?
Oh, definitely meeting Van Halen because my first match sucked. Well, I mean, my first match was fun, but I was so green. And anytime, like, I don't even know. I think I have it somewhere. I watch it, and I just watch it with my hand. I watch it through my fingers. You know, I got my hand on my face, and I'm like kind of like peeking, like it's a horror movie. But first match was against a guy named Geza Coleman, who also wrestled as Kodiak, and then also wrestled as Crom. And then he eventually had a fight in one of the early UFCs where Dan Severn was his corner man. He was about to win, but they stopped it on because he was bleeding. But he was my first opponent, and it was in, I want to say, Chatham, Ontario, Canada. And I was green as goose shit, and you know, he walked me through it, and he made me look better than when I was. And he's another guy who when I originally wanted to train, I was going to train at the Malenko School, and he had went to the Malenko School. So at some point in my life, he probably would have either been with me at Malenko's or as we met through Al Snow and stuff like that. So that match was good because of him, but not because of me. But meeting Van Halen was definitely talk about being a worker. I lied my way into meeting Van Halen.
Yeah.
I totally bullshitted my way in. At the time, I was in WWE, but ECW had done a music CD for ECW, like two of them, and I became friendly with somebody at Concrete Marketing who was doing the ECW promotional side of the DVD, and CD and stuff like that. I sound like an old guy calling the DVD a CD.
The old 8-track that we had.
Yeah. I love when people call DVDs tapes. You got those old tapes. It's called a DVD. Or they call it, I got the CD. It's a DVD. And, but I had met the guy who's helped, put together the ECW CD and became good friends. So I was like, hey, man, I got tickets to go see Van Halen. Do you got any hookups, like, for a meet and greet? He's like, I really don't know anybody there, but you go to the ticket window and say, hey, I got passes through so-and-so, which I wouldn't even say the guy's name, but I forgot the name anyway. Throw it against the wall, see if it sticks. I go, hey, my name's Brian. Here's my ID. I got 2 tickets through so-and-so. I walked up like I belong. And person got on the walkie-talkie. They're like, all right, here you go. He gave me 2 backstage passes. I'm just like, oh, thank you. Right. And inside, I am shitting myself. I'm like, it worked. So I take the passes, and thank God I went out. Kenny Wayne Shepherd was opening up for him. This is the tour with Gary Cherone.
Okay.
And again, I don't care who's singing for Van Halen. It's all about Eddie Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. Eddie's my go-to guy. So I went out and saw a little bit of Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I was like, oh my God, I wonder if the meet and greet's now. So I run and I go, I'm here for the meet and greet. Thank God we got there right at the tail end of the meet and greet and get in line. And I put on my badge. And the cool thing about it was they had a promotional thing where you meet the band and they take a photo of you with a one-time use camera. You know, those. And it was in a little box that looks like Eddie. It's got Eddie's guitar design, which is the the red design with the black and white stripes on it. Like it's had a guitar called Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein design, and they take your photo and they give you the camera. And I was like an infant. I was like, I don't care who. I mean, it was Eddie Van Halen, it was Michael Anthony, Alex Van Halen, Gary Cherone. I was like, I'm putting my arm around Eddie Van Halen. I don't care. I'm hugging Eddie Van Halen, and I go over to Eddie. I put my arm around him. I'm waiting for the guy's messing around with the camera. He goes, I lean in like you talking to somebody. I go, I love you, man. You don't know me, but I love you. Yeah. You're like, oh, I love you, Eddie. And he goes, I love you too, man. And we take the photo. And mind you, there's still people in line, so they want this thing to move like
sure.
Like an assembly line. They're trying to get people in and out. I turn around and I just give them a hug. I'm like, I love you, man. And it's like,
that's awesome.
I didn't want to let go. And so I go to Alex and shake his hand. Thank you. Handshake. I'm not giving him the limp. I'm not giving him the dead fish one. I'm giving him the manly handshake. I'm like, hey, thank you. The guy goes, all right, we have other people. I'm like, hey. I wanted to go fuck you, but I couldn't. And I shake Gary's hand, Alex's hand, Michael Anthony's hand. And they're like, oh, you're still here? I'm like, yep.
I am now part of the band.
Yeah, and I guarded that camera with my life, and like I got home the next day. I ran to when they had when you used to have to get your photos printed. Yeah. I went and got the 1 hour treatment. I was like, I don't care.
Did you ever put that on social media? That picture?
Photo with Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, so we can get it up on our social.
And we'll make sure we tag the proper.
Of course.
Yes.
Maybe they'll retweet it and.
Yeah, there's Eddie's on there, but he's not really on there. His son Wolfgang's on there.
Wolfgang, do us all a favor. Tweet it.
And here's another story. Real quick on Van Halen's last tour, which I had a feeling was going to be their last tour, because you always hear stories and stuff like that. I have a friend who is a like one of those guys who get collector. He goes and gets photos. He always finds out where they're staying. He always finds out where people are staying. He knows where to go get the autographs and all this stuff. I go, hey, man, my buddy Robert, I go, hey, man, you got to hook me up. Where's Van Halen staying? And he goes and does his due diligence, and he goes, okay, here's where they're staying. I was like, well, what time should I go there? He's like, go early. Don't matter. So we get there. Me and Mrs. Meanie get there. We're the only people there, and we're just standing there. And we're just like, leaning against the wall like we belong there and all this stuff. We're like, oh, yeah, And meanwhile, Van Halen's tour buses are like right there.
Okay.
I'm just like, cool. And we got there way too early. And but like me, I'd rather be early than late. Like I was almost late for the meet and greet. I almost missed meeting Van Halen the first time. So I'm standing there and I start recognizing people like Eddie's guitar roadie is out there just walking down the street, and I didn't want to be that guy. I'm standing there with shorts, and I got Eddie Van Halen tattoo on my leg, so I'm sure he knew who I was. So I'm just like standing there like, cool collective, not marking out, just I belong there. And I see Eddie's wife, Janie, walking. That's Eddie's wife, and all this good stuff. And all of a sudden, like, people start forming, like a crowd starts forming because there's a bus there, and people are like, oh, what's everybody hanging out for? Hanging out, here for, and we're just making up shit, and whatever. So I guess there was a point in time where like they were preparing for the band to leave, and they put up uh, like a velvet rope, not a velvet
No,
rope,
but
but
I
like
got what you mean. Yeah, something.
the thing, the shit they put out the bank,
Mm-hmm.
the people form a line.
The
They were standing there,
retractable barrier
gimmick,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, and, look, I, I appreciate wrestling fans being wrestling fans, but this is my time to be a mark, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be super fucking mark boy, and I've done some cool shit in my life, and I met some cool people and have relationships, but I was like, dude, I'm going to be a fucking mark. Here I am. So I'm standing there, and as slowly but surely things start getting moving, they're moving stuff out of the hotel into the tour buses, and then like fucking Wolfgang comes out. And everybody's like, Wolfie, 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 and they're getting their autographs and stuff like that. And people are like, stay behind the line. And for whatever reason, I just said, fuck it. I got a case of the fuck it's, and I casually walk around the thing. Mrs. Meanie was ready. She got the camera out. Like, hey, Wolf, let's, want to take a photo? He's like, oh, yeah, sure. I put my arm around him, just like two guys at the bar, like, hey, man, what's
That's
up?
awesome.
And Mrs. Meanie took the photo, and I casually walked back. And then time comes, and Eddie's just like, because there's people out there, they want like albums signed.
Sure.
I was there to be a fan. There's people there clearly to get shit signed to sell.
Oh, like the people
right?
and like wrestlers always talk about, like at the airport, and they're there, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, could you sign these 35 Tops trading
Right.
cards? It's like, oh, I guess, are these all for you? Like, come on.
Yeah, there's people who had like drum heads with the Van Halen logo on it, very professional looking shit. I was just there to be a mark. I'm not here to sell anything. I just want photos. I don't want autographs. Give me a photo, And Eddie was just like, he comes down and goes, oh, sorry, we're late, and gets on his bus and drives off. And I was just like, hey, look. I know, I'm getting to that. Eddie's like, oh, fuck it, I'm out of here. And I get it. His bus takes off, but Alex's bus is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, So Alex's security guy comes out and goes, okay, everybody, line up against the wall. He'll sign one item. He'll sign it with this marker, and he is sure there's a thing in the autograph world where like a blue marker on something makes the thing more valuable. Like green marker makes it like less valuable, but he had everybody say, you're going to get an autograph from Alex, but it's going to be with this black marker because it takes the value. If you're going to try to flip it and get a sign, it brings the value down. For whatever reason, the blue marker is the marker in the autograph.
Blue's the color, man.
Hey,
and blue equals green.
I always have one in my back pocket just for you never know. And because if I don't sign them in blue, people are like, how come it's not blue? And I sign in blue, they go, of course. And people go, of course you have a blue marker.
That's awesome.
So I learned that day. So Alex comes out. I was like, fuck. I was like, sure, an autograph's cool. I'm the photo guy. I like a photo. And the guy's like, if one person steps out of line, I'm shutting this shit down, and he's leaving. We're like, all right. So I was like, I didn't know how long I was going to be, so I had my tickets to the show on, and so he signed my ticket. He signed, Tracy's stuff,
nice.
And I go, of course, as back to when I met Eddie again, I was like, oh, thank you so much for signing this stuff, Alex. And he looked and smiled, and he probably knew that, I wasn't being a scoundrel and trying to, flip something. I was being genuine. And he goes off, and he gets on this tour bus and leaves. And we had enough time. Me and Miss Meanie went back home, but I posted, the photo of me and Wolfie online, and again being total mark boy.
That's great.
And it was a cool moment. So I've got, as far as Van Halen goes, I've met everybody except for Sammy and Dave. Those are my my white whales that I'm chasing. I definitely want to meet Dave. I definitely because especially Dave has a YouTube channel, and there's 2 episodes where he talks about the history of Japanese wrestling and the history of American pro wrestling. And Dave knows amazingly, Dave knows his shit. when it comes to the world of professional
so
wrestling.
how have you not been able to pull this off?
Wrong place, wrong time. I don't know. I've seen Dave in concert, and I've seen Sammy. I saw the Sammy and Dave tour where they toured together. I just haven't been like growing up in Atlantic City. You kind of get the spidey senses of when it comes to meeting famous people. You know, like when the Tyson Holyfield fight was not Tyson, George Foreman Holyfield was in Atlantic City. I knew where to go. I just had this sense of where to go, where to be. But in the case, I met, Muhammad Ali. I met Gene Hackman. I met Mr. T. I met Bon Jovi. I met Luther Campbell from Two Live Crew. I met the guy from the Buffalo Bills, defensive guy, Monster, Bruce something. Somebody will correct me. Somebody will fact check me. All at this Tyson fight, or at this Holyfield Foreman fight. And that's a whole nother story I'll tell. But when it comes to Dave and Sammy, I haven't been able to put in the position to put myself make it look casually like I'm casually meeting.
If anybody listening to this has some sort of a connection to make this happen,
dude,
we gotta the world comes back, we have to try and figure out how to make this happen for Meanie.
I've met Michael Anthony. I've met Gary. I met Alex. I met Eddie. I met Wolfie. And, I've met people who've given me some really good Van Halen stories that I do not dare repeat because they've been told to me in confidence. But if somebody out there can hook me up with Dave and Sammy, that'd be awesome. Scotty Too Hotty told me he met Sammy in the airport, and I was so jealous and mad all at the same time because I love Scotty Too Hotty. But he's like, yeah, I met Sammy in the airport, and they invited me to the show, and I went backstage. I was like, it was just like when Mick Foley told me he met Britney Spears all over again, and I'm just like I'm melting in my seat.
Funny thing about Scotty Too Hotty, when I was a senior in high school, I graduated class of 01. So this was, prime too cool, time period. And we had a class trip to Disney World, and I'm walking there, and this dude just like walks by, and like my buddy and I are just like, dude, that dude's jacked, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of do I guess I kind of thought he was wearing sunglasses. I'm kind of but a very recognizable beard, that little the little beard that he had there. And I look behind and I see he's wearing a hat, but I see this like bleach blonde hair kind of like coming down the back. I'm like, oh my God, that's Scotty Too Hotty. So I ran after him. He was the coolest guy. One of the things at this point, I was just about to start trying to like break into wrestling. A guy like Scotty, so I'm 5'8". A guy like Scotty Too Hotty, I always saw on TV as the me of wrestling. Well, it turns out, in actuality, he was significantly larger in real life than I was. And that was like a little bit of a blow to my self-esteem and my hopes and dreams. But was super cool. And then that for like a brief moment in the tail end of my senior year of high school, it was like I was a big deal on that trip because I found a celebrity guy. And I have a picture of it with it's me and some friends, and half of us are diehard wrestling fans. Another one was like a casual fan. One of them, I don't think he even knew what professional wrestling was, but knew that this was clearly like someone from TV, so got himself in this picture. But yeah, that was one of the questions that I wanted to piggyback off of that other question was, have you ever, since you in certain circles, you're a celebrity, you're the person that people are waiting in line to meet. Have you ever met somebody that you were marking out to meet who in turn was like, oh man, Blue Meanie?
I don't know if he was marking out to meet me, but
we'll say at least knew who you were.
Oh my God. WWE was in Anaheim, and people would just show up. And this is around the time we were doing stuff with THQ too. So I just got new gear. They had taken a photo of me and stuff like that. So I had my new gear on. I'm walking around, and Owen Hart goes, "Hey, Nicolas Cage is over there." I went, what? And I do my casual. I'm going to pretend like I meant to walk
Yeah,
over
right.
here. I go, oh, hey, how you doing? There's Nicolas Cage with his son, and I walk over. I go, hello, my name. Hey, pleasure to meet you. He introduces me to his son. He goes, hey, this is Blue Meanie over here, and I was like, he knows my name.
Wow.
So it was like kind of cool that like he was a fan
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Uh, and then that same night, Bo Bridges, was there. The actor
Yeah.
Bo Bridges of the famous Bridges family, and he asked me to come over and take a photo with his family. And I was like, oh my god, this is like incredible.
Wow.
Bo Bridges, the Starman or whatever. You can name any movie he was in, and I'm geeking out, and he's asking me to take a photo with him, his wife, his kids, and all this stuff. I'm just like, ah! And like, I wish there was social media where like he would have posted it or something. Like, I've never seen the photo. I wish I could find the photo.
Well, again, if anyone's listening,
anybody knows Bo Bridges,
yeah, if you can find that photo.
Real quick, same night. I know I'm going to botch this name, but the Green Mile, Michael Duncan Clark? Or
Michael Clark Duncan. No, Michael. Wait, Michael Clark Duncan, right? Michael Clark. Well, now I'm like second guessing it. Michael Clark.
If you have three names in your name, I am going to fuck it up. So
Michael Clark Duncan. Okay, I was right. Yeah,
he was backstage, and I didn't know who he was. And WWE, like, this was a house show.
Was this around the time when he was doing didn't he do the film? He did the with The Rock. He did Scorpion King or one of those.
This might have been before that. I'll have to look at the history of WWF.com to get my dates right. I know I had just been released, and this is when we were talking about this last week. I was released, and they were still putting me on shows.
For more on that, check out episode 4 of Mine of the Meanie.
Right, and I remember somebody came up to me because I had wrote this. The thing, I've been released. I'd like to thank WWE, and somebody complimented me, saying it was a classy move. And then I walked over to go get a coffee. There was like a thing for coffee, fruit, and all this stuff. And Michael Clark Duncan was there. I was like, man, that's a big fucking dude. So I'm next to him. Hey, man, what's up? How you doing, Brian? Hey, Michael. I thought he was like a local wrestler. Because like some guys. There would be like big guys backstage. They were bringing in, like, Brock Lesnar was at SummerSlam. I didn't know who he was at the time. This big fucking dude. It's the SummerSlam in Minnesota. So I'm like, we're in Anaheim. I was like, maybe this is the guy they're bringing in. Yeah, and then like I get released and I go to the movies and there he is on the screen. I'm like, oh my god, that's the guy from Anaheim. And, and I'm saying this to myself around. People are like, "What the fuck, Anaheim? What?" Yeah, I'm popping myself out loud. I was like, I met that guy.
That's awesome.
No, people around me don't know what I'm talking about. It was the guy, Michael
Clark Duncan. Yes.
Yeah. So like, coolest dude, man, greatest guy. Just two guys standing there making coffee, cracking jokes like we're at the office. Like, hey, how you doing?
I saw the Nicolas Cage. I think that's pretty cool. And some people, if you're younger and listening to this, I feel like most people who are listening to this are, maybe a little bit like closer to like our ages because of, it's the Mind of the Meanie. They're big Blue Meanie fans, but then they'll all appreciate.
And the cool thing, he almost went on to be in the wrestling.
Yes, almost.
I was in. So
almost got to work with him.
I met him and we almost got to do a movie together.
But that's the thing. I don't think people, unless you were really, around paying attention in like the 90s to realize what a big star Nicolas Cage was.
He was the man.
And so for him to know who you are,
Con Air, Leaving Las Vegas, The Rock,
Face Off.
Yeah. He was 90s movies. Yeah. He's in one of my favorite movies, Raising Arizona.
Okay.
I love that movie. That's where I got introduced. I mean, I'm sure I've seen him before that, but that's the movie that
stands out to you.
Brought Nicolas Cage into my my thought process, in my being, stuff like that.
And little did you know that he was just a huge meanie mark.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing about wrestling.
Last thing I want to say before we wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Last week we mentioned how much we appreciate everybody going and leaving ratings and reviews for us on iTunes. And we called out a Pod Squad member, Jerry Moo, and because he wrote the nicest review for us and gave us 1 star. And we knew from the review, because this was not a sarcastic review. This was very kind. Well, Jerry did not even reach out to us about this, but I checked and he has corrected it to give us 5 stars. So Jerry Moo, thank you for not only taking the time to go and write a review, but then taking the time to go back and give us 5 stars. Means a lot. We really appreciate it. We have even since then, there have been a number of other reviews that have come in. I am proud to say, and I know you are too, that we have across the board 5 stars.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
It really does.
For 2 guys that are just shooting shit.
Because I know plenty of people in my life who would not rate a conversation they had with me to be 5 stars. So I'm glad that at least my conversations with DeMeanie are bringing it up a couple of stars.
There's plenty of useless knowledge in this episode.
Yeah, this was definitely a fun one. Had a lot of fun talking to you today, as I always do. I think that pretty much does it for us. Meanie, any last words till next week that you'd like to leave the Pod Squad with?
Again, thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you to everybody who bought a shirt. Thank you to everybody who left a rating. Everybody who's just subscribed. And if I could pass on the advice, if you can't listen to this in all one sitting, break it down between 2 or 3 days, like Josh had come up with. Thank you for listening. I know it's a long show. I know we talk about a lot, but thank you for just being here and listening and bringing this content to you in these crazy times. And thank you.
And I second that. Make sure to follow us on social media at Mind of the Meanie. And while you're at it, give us follows individually if you would. The Meanie can be found on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Blue Meanie BWO. I'm at So Says Shernoff on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Don't forget to visit mindofthemeanie.com for all our great new shirts. And of course, Pro Wrestling Tees / Blue Meanie and collarandelbowbrand.com, promo code Meanie. And while we're talking promo codes, we have to thank our sponsors for today, Manscaped and SOSCustomNetwork.com. And make sure you go to both of those and you use the promo code Meanie. You're going to save some money. And in the case of Manscaped, you're going to save your balls. For the Blue Meanie, I'm Josh Shernoff. This has been a lot of fun. Join us again next Monday for another trip into the mind of the Meanie.
Blue World.